Hello, I'm Mike МакКлоски, and welcome to a virtual tour at the robotic barn at Fair Oaks Farms. We've been milking here at Fair Oaks Farms in a conventional fashion using rotaries for over 20 years now. And very, very happy with our rotaries. But during those years, we have been watching robots through their development. In the last couple of years, we felt that there had been enough changes that robots now could be used in larger dairies and used very efficiently. Obviously, the first reason we were focused on robots over the years was the labor savings. And we all know how difficult labor is today on our dairy farms to find good labor, but more importantly, the consistency of good labor. So it's always working procedures operating procedures that we have to put in place to make sure that we have consistency of how our cows are being milked day in and day out. And as we were watching robots develop over the last 15 to 20 years, it was very impressive to see how much more accurate they got on the consistency of milking. The prep was a concern to us also. We really focus on proper prep. So priming the cow, using a pre-dip on the cow, wiping that off, making sure it's dry, and then machine hanging at about a minute after that procedure was very important to us. As robots continue to develop, we noticed that many of the great companies that develop robots were really focusing on that as well and creating that automation in a way that it was always consistent, so better than we can do with our people in our farm. So that became very attractive. And obviously these labor savings were very important to us as far as the financial labor savings in comparison to the cost of building a robotic barn. The other area that I found interesting over the years that we were hearing is that there was somewhat of an increase in production on the equal cow on a conventional barn versus in a robotic barn for many reasons. Maybe because you're taking whole herds into the holding pen, or maybe because you can milk a few more often times as a cow tries to hit the peak of her lactation. We can get 3 or 4 milkings into her, versus in the back end of the lactation we can decrease those to 2, and that's a very simple procedure to do with robots. And the tranquility that you see in these barns is also probably a factor that has to do with the added production. So that was attractive to us as we visited many people with robots, how they shared with us that they felt that they had a decent increase in production. But my biggest concern over time was the fetching issue. So when I visited robot barns, people would be going out to get 5, 10, maybe 12% of the cows that weren't getting up to get milked. So to solve that problem, the way it was being addressed in most of the places I was visiting was by adding more feed at the robot to attract the cows to get up more often and go to the robot and milk. And that was a big concern to us because we all spent, the last 30 years or maybe in the 90s and beginning of the 2000s on really dialing in our TMRs. And we're very happy with that. And to get away from a TMR by separating now grain into the robot was a concern to us. So it was this concept of milk first that really attracted us, that got kind of more developed over the last 5 years. And that's where a cow gets up to eat, but she can't go directly to the bunk. She has to walk through a smart gate, and that smart gate decides if she goes to the robot, if it's time for her to milk, or if she's going to go to feed. And now we know that these cows are getting up 10 times a day, maybe 11 times a day, but a minimum of 10 times a day to go eat. That obviously is pretty consistent all day long, so about every 2 or 3 hours getting up to eat. So that is plenty of time to catch her and time to send her to the robot. Once she's put beside the robot, it's easier to get her to go into the robot with very little feed, to the point that we're feeding less than 1 pound per milking when they come in. So it's really doesn't disturb the TMR as the example I gave before. So all in all, we're incredibly pleased with our robots. We have the milk first system, very little fetching. We have a little design that allows us that even if a cow is by the robot and decides not to milk, she gets separated. The smart gate notifies the person in charge. That person can come in. It's very easy and quick to get that 1 or 2 percent of cows that don't want to go into the robot to get in. They don't have to go back to the pen to fetch. Francisco is going to take you through a virtual tour by pen, and he'll demonstrate these designs we did that have helped so much. I want to go back to the prep. I am incredibly pleased with how robots have developed in this pre-milking as we prep these cows. It's impressive to me, the accuracy. We focus a lot on milk quality throughout all of Fair Oaks farms, and we are able to achieve very good milk quality. But the robotic barn in the year and 8 months that it's been working, it has beat every one of our barns in milk quality, not only in somatic cell, which is a good representation of how well the cows are being taken care of, but also in total bacteria count, which gives us a good idea that we are picking out all our mastitis cows. Our coliforms as well are extremely low, below 50 counts per milliliter. And our lab pasteurized counts are incredibly low as well, which has been one of the concerns with robots over time, is that are they going to be able to clean as well as our conventional type barns? And I can't be more pleased that cleans better than our conventional barns. And as far as the care for the cow, it's demonstrating to us that it's doing a much better job than what we can train our milkers to do. So we're very, very pleased in that aspect. The milk letdown, because it focused so much on prep, our milk letdown is fantastic, so incredibly pleased there. And the post-care before the cow leaves the robot is as good as it can be. I mean, totally coverage of iodine on the teats, so I'm very pleased with that. So all around, we just don't have any issues with what we're doing. Obviously, they're more complex machines, a little bit more maintenance. That's obviously, everyone understands that. You got to have people that are a little more qualified to take care of things. And most importantly, I would recommend that you want to make sure that you have a good team behind your sales team that is selling the robots. And in our case, we've had an excellent results with DeLaval. We looked at a lot of robots. I believe that all robots have benefits. They compete very well. Some, I believe, are better than others. But also what's important is the people behind that robot, the company that stands behind it, and their service when you need that service. And we've been at this since February of last year, so probably a year and 4 months now, or whatever that is. And I have to share that our service has been spectacular. The robots have functioned incredibly well, and the training of our DeLaval team towards our team has been impeccable. So we're all in all extremely pleased. One concept that we did here at Fair Oaks that I think is interesting is all of our milk parlors obviously run 24 hours a day with their cleanups and milking. So our bottleneck on our farms is obviously the milking parlor. But we have a little more room on our feed pad, probably a little more room in our digester and other things that we can do. So adding a robotic unit like this one, and this is an 800 cow unit basically, adding that to a 3,000, 3,200 cow milking facility, you get a lot of advantages that you can use because the robotic barn has its own milking parlor within it because the robots are right where the cows live. So you don't have that bottleneck of the milking facility, and I can build it right beside a rotary complex and use all of the other assets that I have, such as the feeding pad and the digesters and other things, plus the management that's in place at this particular farm. It's very simple for them because of the low labor here. It's very simple for them to give the oversight of the management of this barn. So basically, we're leveraging or capitalizing on what was here already, making it more efficient by adding an additional 800 cows to the same complex. So it's a pleasure to be able to talk to all of you. I'd rather you be here and visit Fair Oaks Farms and enjoy our tours and our restaurants and all the things we have to offer. So I hope that sometime when you have an opportunity, you come out to Fair Oaks Farms and visit us. Thank you.